Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and welcome back to another preview and prediction video. Today I'll be doing the Texas State Bobcats. Last season, Texas State went 4-8, 3-5 in the Sun Belt with a one game winning streak against Arkansas State. So, a pretty abysmal season for Texas State. Not that good for them. Let's see what they're working with. They have a fourth-year head coach in Jake Spavitas. So, he could be coming into his own. Let's look at the depth chart. They get Lane Hatcher coming in as a redshirt junior transfer from Arkansas State. He was pretty good at Arkansas State. They also have Calvin Hill, redshirt sophomore running back. A senior, Marcel Barbie, wide receiver. Javin Banks, senior. Junior, Ashton Hawkins, and redshirt junior Drew Jackson. At wide receiver, at tight end, you have Jackson Lanham, redshirt junior. Offensive line, you have a redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior, senior, junior, and junior. So not bad with the experience on offense, so that looks good. On defense, defensive ends, you have a senior, and Nico Ezidor. Defensive tackles, you have a junior, Samuel Abadang, redshirt senior, Jamar Daniels. Linebackers, junior, Jordan Revels, redshirt senior, London Harris, redshirt senior, Sion Tupo. In the secondary, you have Chris Mills Jr., Kevin Anderson, redshirt junior, Troy Spears, senior, Cordell Rogers, and finally, nickelback, junior, DeJordan Mask. So, you have a lot of experience on this roster. In my opinion, I've said in most of my videos, this is a very volatile team. A team that can get over their head, but are still a good football team. So, let's see how how my predictions mirror that. Week 1, you play on the road in Reno to take on Nevada, and I think this is going to be a big win for Texas State. I think that they go into Reno and get a big win against Nevada. Week 2, you play FIU at home in San Marcos. You should get a win over FIU. They are not the best Conference USA team, so I think you start the season 2-0 before you go to Waco to take on Baylor Bears. Now, this is an interesting game. In my opinion, Texas State could make this a close game, but with Baylor's new quarterback, I do think Baylor's going to get a convincing win, maybe by 2 or 3 touchdowns, over Texas State to give them their first loss, so they're 2-1 before playing Houston Baptist. And I think Texas State handles Houston Baptist very easily, going in 3-1 in the month of September. Then they'll go on the road to James Madison to play the Dukes in Harrisonburg. This game is what I was saying earlier about they can get over their head. James Madison, coming up from the FCS, it's a pretty good FCS team coming into the to the group of 5. They're not going to be the best team. But if they get a situation like this where Texas State, a team like Texas State, comes in very confident over their head, they can do some very volatile things. And I think that they get a win against Texas State at home. And Texas State gets their second loss and is 3-2 before coming back home to play App State, which they lose as well. Then they go on the road to Troy to take on the Trojans, and I think the losing streak continues as they are on a 3-game losing streak, and they're 3-4 after starting the season 3-1. Come back home to play Southern Miss, and I think they get the win easily. They get grounded. They get their feet back on the ground and are grounded in what they believe. And going to their bye week, they're 4-4. I'm sorry. They're 4-4 going to their bye week before their last 4 games. Still not bowl eligible. Can they get there? We'll see. First game out, you play at Louisiana Monroe. And I think that Louisiana Monroe comes out and punches you in the mouth and takes another game from you. So you're 4-5 in a very physical game after a very physical game against Louisiana Monroe. Then you go on the road to South Alabama. And I think in a close matchup, you beat the Jaguars in Mobile to get to 5-5. Then you go on the road to Arkansas State and beat the Red Wolves to finally get bowl eligible. I think that at this point in the season, Arkansas State's demoralized and you're able to pick off an easy win from them. You're 6-5 before coming back home to play Louisiana. I do think Louisiana wins in the end, but a big improvement from last year for Texas State as they go bowling at 6-6. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed and have a great day. Go Dogs.